many people who are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all. They don't have teeth. Why? Because meth rots your teeth. You can't succeed without teeth.
Or with meth.
So there needs to be comprehensive health care provided to people.
I went to a dark place, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I started hanging out with the bad kids. Started doing drugs I did drugs to numb the feeling.
People aren't living on these sidewalks, they're dying on these sidewalks. It is unlike any other district in the country because nowhere else in the United States do you have as many unsheltered individuals living on these sidewalks 24/7. For all of the millions of dollars that are being spent on homelessness, we don't see a difference.
No matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl.
I don't think anybody in Los Angeles right now can say that we are satisfied with spending extraordinary amounts of money on our homelessness response and getting only incremental progress.
Situation. Karen Bass has made an industry out of homelessness. She's made an entire industry out of it. She's spent more than hundreds of millions of dollars on the homeless problem, and she has nothing to show for it.
Headline says it all. Democratic Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, the same one who, when the wildfires broke out in Los Angeles, was in Ghana. After she'd been warned not to go, she was in Ghana getting back to her roots. Anyway, the same Karen Bass proposes free teeth for meth addicts. Meth addicts don't have teeth because it rots their teeth out. It's one of the crazy things about meth. You can always tell a meth addict, no teeth, right? No teeth. So her solution is to give them new teeth, like 80 grand a person for a full-on set, because you're going to have to grind them down. You're going to have to do all kinds of stuff. This is just but one of many, many policy failures. This failed Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has proposed a new government program, free teeth for meth addicts, paid for by Los Angeles taxpayers. In what world does this make any sense whatsoever? Maybe it's the meth killing people. Maybe it's the meth rotting their teeth. Do you think their chances of success will get better if we just give them some teeth? Or we try and help them get sober? You know what I'm saying? This is just absolutely mind-blowing. This is, everything gets reduced down to a common denominator, right? Especially when you're working with failure. It's going to come down to a common denominator of just, what is that? We're looking at a prime number. We're looking at a fraction that can't be reduced anymore. That's the extent of my math knowledge. I'm okay with math. I got through college math, college calculus, couple of quarters of college calculus, business calculus, but I was a C student at best. But that denominator is this. That's what we're working with, is this. Speaking at an event this week, Bass floated her latest idea to further destroy and bankrupt what was once a great city. That's the way it should be, right? Karen Bass, here's what she says. How many people who are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all? But you know what she's inadvertently saying? Unhoused people are on drugs. Oh, hey, they don't have teeth. Why? Because at that point, don't you think we should get them off the drugs? Get them off the dope? Remember when everybody used to just call it dope? Like, not the stuff we put on plastic pipes to, steal, because, you got to get a real plumber for that. I do see PVC pipes all day long, though, because they're easy, and you just take a skill saw and, cut them up if you need to.
Who are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all. They don't have teeth. Why? Because there needs to be comprehensive health care provided to people.
So the article goes on to say, this is like refurnishing a house that's still on fire. That is not wrong, right? Hey, it's still smoldering. Let's go ahead and do some painting. Let's do some priming. Yeah, but fire's probably going to still wipe out that. Well, you know what? We'll put some money into it. We'll throw some money at it and we'll see what happens. This has to be one of the most ridiculous ideas anyone has ever come up with. And she actually uses the retarded term unhoused. They're homeless. They're not unhoused. They didn't just lose their house. They made life choices, and that's where they're at. It's the pinning responsibility, the lack of responsibility. So you want to just let people do whatever the F they want, and the taxpayers have to cover it? Because you know what? Actions have consequences. Yeah, they're probably not going to succeed in life because they made some terrible, poor choices, and they need to work on their own. You can't give them free teeth, just like you can't give them housing and expect that everything's going to get better. It doesn't work that way. That's not a thing. But for these socialists, for these commies, and I would put Karen Bass in there as just basically a terrible leader. She is a terrible leader. But folks in Los Angeles, you're the numbnuts that hired her. Just like in Chicago, you're the numbnuts that hired Let's Go Brandon Johnson. Oh, he's progressive. This is going to be great. Such good leadership skills. So we got the retarded term unhoused, and I'm just reading the article. I normally wouldn't use retarded because we call them now mentally handicapped because retarded for some reason is out of vogue, and but it's not meant towards mentally challenged people, actual mentally challenged people. It's meant towards people who should know better. And that is Karen Bass. She should know, but she doesn't, because complete detachment from reality. What good does it do to fix the teeth of a meth head? Who's going to look at the meth head smile and say, please work my cash register? That's funny. Yeah, you got a job. Hey, why don't you come work at the bank? Yeah, you betcha. You betcha. No skill set, no ability to handle money, no college education. Sounds like the mayor of Seattle. And we're not talking about a cleaning here. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in dental care. Implants cost about $6,000 per tooth. Extractions run around $300 per tooth. Meth heads will almost certainly require bone grafts, sinus lifts, and maybe even sedation. We're going to trust meth heads with dentures, which are cheaper at around $5,000, but likely end up in a pawn shop or left behind in a crack house. No. This is utter insanity. And that's how you end up with a mayor who has basically abdicated all responsibility and runs off to Ghana as her handlers are saying, hey, mayor, there's some high winds and there's high probability there's going to be some fires. You sure you want to go? Got to get back to my roots. Got to go to Ghana. And then she comes back in that clip of her, with the Australian press guy. Do you have anything to say to the people of Los Angeles who have lost their homes? Do you have anything to say at all, Mayor? Then the mayor's just, straight ahead, just ignoring. If I ignore him, he'll maybe go away. It's like a kid who's done something wrong and they just kind of stop, or a rabbit that comes into your yard and then you come out and the rabbit sees you and it just stops and pretends that it's not there and thinks that you'll go away. Yeah, not happening. My experience, looking at a total cost in the range of $30,000 to $80,000. That's if the city pays the dentist directly, which it won't. It'll go through a management company, right? Whole program will be funded through a nonprofit or NGO, which will double or triple the cost to taxpayers with sweet kickbacks to Democrats. And this is how you consistently have budget overruns in Democrat-run cities, counties, and states. I was looking at a news story out of Texas, their attorney general, because a bunch of the cities are looking at increasing taxes without going through all the transparency of, hey, you got to get all your paperwork in before you increase those taxes. Accountability. Looking at accountability. Yeah, that's the opposite of what we're doing here. Just like Governor Gavin Newsom's free diaper program tripled the cost of the diapers that the government bought. Just massive government waste. Because anytime the government gets involved in the process, the cost just goes to the moon, right? Because you got to pay for all the administrative costs of the numbnuts running the program. And these NGOs, fire them all. Fire them all. Just fire them all. Save so much money. So much money. Get rid of the homeless industrial complex in Portland. You know where your homeless people will go? Away. They'll go to another city. Spends all their money. Build it and they will come. In my experience, it's been 2 years and counting of paying massive dental bills out of my own pocket, just like every other law-abiding taxpayer in America. You mean all I have to do to get my dental bills paid is smoke meth? Yeah. It's like, hey, I've been working on my citizenship for decades. All I got to do is illegally come through the southern border into the United States when numbnuts Biden was in office. That guy. Medicare doesn't even cover dental, which means people who've worked all their lives and paid into the system do not have government help paying their dental bills. But the government will assist degenerate meth addicts. Yeah, why would you even suggest this? Because you're a dirty commie. You're a total dirty, stinky commie. How does a population get to a point where they vote for someone like Karen Bass to be chief executive of her city? I don't know. I live in Seattle. Pretty normal. Just absolute thinking. I'm sure they'll be great. They're telling me 14 different ways that they're going to increase affordability when they have zero ability to pull any kind of levers on affordability in a city like Seattle. And weird, taxes are going up. Affordability is going down. The things that Katie Wilson, the things that Karen Bass ran on, we all know that they can't do anything about it. They're completely useless because their ideology is completely useless. Don't get the meth addict into treatment where they can extend their life expectancy. Give them new teeth. That'll do it. You think they'll quit doing meth? I mean, you're under the hypothesis that if people get new teeth, the dope. But they're not. Meth addicts, oftentimes, unfortunately, the way they get off it is by taking an eternal dirt nap. Run into some meth laced with some fentanyl. Sad, right? I know Republican Spencer Pratt is lighting the internet on fire and that he wiped the floor with her in that debate. Superb candidate, but the post-debate polls do not look good for him. Yeah, what is up with that? People are like, oh, he's too effective. We can't have him. We need somebody that supports the ideology that meth addicts should get new teeth. Get them to succeed. City is doomed by its own voters. I'm fine with that. I don't live there. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Seattle. F Seattle. You guys want to run the city into the ground? Pay great. I'm not participating. Some people are saying, but you got to stay there and fight the good fight. I don't. I can fight the good fight from afar. Live in a place where I wake up in the morning where I've got reasonable leadership, got a reasonable police force, got a population that doesn't want to do stupid things like defund the police or support Black Lives Matter, which is a domestic terror organization. None of that. Get away from that. I don't want to see that. That's just nonsense. It's mental. Just, right? If you're an illegal alien meth addict, Bass will probably give you free teeth plus a bag full of gold. You know what? Let's look at some of other Karen Bass's massive failures. So, legacy of failure, a betrayal of Black African women, and a failed vision for California for oversight on crime, terrorism, and homeland security. I mean, if you're telling people they should be getting teeth, you know what I mean? LA Mayor Karen Bass deflects blame, adds insult to injury for wildfire victims. And then she fired the police chief, the fire chief, right after the wildfires happened. Zero responsibility. She was in Ghana. And then she made all these excuses as to, I was trying to call on that, international flight. It was 17-hour travel time of trying to get there. Before you left, and even prior to her leaving, she'd already done a handful of international trips, and she wasn't supposed to. She'd done 4 or 5 international trips already, and she said, you know what? I'm not going to do any of that in my time in office. Off she goes to Ghana. Fire comes, and yeah, greatest thing ever. How about Spencer Pratt? I mean, I am seeing a ton of his ads, and it's because they're targeting conservative people. They're like, hey, this guy's out there. I'm not even close. I'm in Seattle area, in LA. I'm not going to vote for him. But everybody's talking about him, and you guys are sending me his ads. I mean, he's had some just incredible ads. Let's take a look at this one. And Karen Bass, mayor of LA, running for office again. Spencer Pratt, reality TV star, former, but his house burned down, and he's now living in a trailer, Silver Stream Trailers. It's cool, on his lot because he's trying to get his house built. But that's what he's doing. So he's using that as a stepping stone for a lot of the ad campaigns that we're seeing, basically pointing out Karen Bass has been an absolute failure, and his supporters are creating AI-generated ads, and they're throwing them out there. He doesn't even have to do ads. He's got a whole bunch of people that he doesn't pay, doesn't even know them, and they're throwing up these ads. And some of them, you've got the whole AI kind of ad issue with Spencer Pratt. That's really entering the conversation because there's more than just that one ad. There's a whole bunch of ads, and they are really good. They're really effective. Will it move the needle? Well, the polls are saying no. The polls are saying that, let's get this not moving. The polls are saying, no, we still like Karen Bass. You know, those are the people that hire a Karen Bass versus a Spencer Pratt. Now, Spencer Pratt has said a bunch of stuff. How is he actually going to be effective in Los Angeles? I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, you hear a lot of talk. Is he going to be able to do it? I don't know, but I like what he's saying a whole lot better than Karen Bass or the other woman who's she's terrible. She is awful. She's terrible. Then we got Karen Bass slammed for pulling out of key debate after Spencer Pratt's success. Just pulled out. Couldn't do it. But then Spencer Pratt pulled out, the whole thing. That'll be a really, really interesting race to follow because you've got a reality TV star up against a failed mayor who has failed in every single metric along the way. How's that going to go? Yeah. Stay tuned. I'll be covering that one. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell. Love to have you share with friends and family, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining.